Hello, hello. What's going on, chat? How is it going? Hey, Despot Bots, how's it going? How you doing? Oh, this is why. I was like, why is my camera not working? Haha! That's why. What's going on, chat? How's everybody doing? Hope everyone's doing well. Yo, Rev, what's up? How was your trip? Or whatever you were doing? Alright. So, what are we going to be doing today? Hold on, I was filming something. I was filming a fly tying video the other day. Let me switch from manual focus to auto. Oh, we're also in 4K. Hold on. Let's... 1 second. 1 second. Good thing I checked. We're going to switch back to... You may hear a little beep boop. Maybe not. Oh, we're good. Okay. And we're going to swap over to a higher shutter speed, and we'll go up to a higher ISO to compensate. And now we're in the correct resolution. Okay, cool. I film my fly time videos in 4K, so... but streaming the camera will overheat 100% in 4K, so we can't do that. Now today, what are we doing? We're going to be building some terrain. Excited for moss. I got your moss right here. I'm going to be using some of it. I got it. This is what we got. This is what I worked on the other night. Nice and simple. So this is dollar store plants. And then we have, what do you call it? We have some random foam and, oh, I forgot what it's called, corkboard. We got some random corkboard in there as well. And then I took a mixture of Mod Podge and brown paint, painted the bases, and then really what I should have done is mixed in sand with the paint, but I was lazy, so I sprinkled sand on top. So the sand's still kind of loose. So then I took it to the airbrush, though, because I didn't want it to just be pure brown. It's supposed to be a jungle, right? So I took the airbrush and I hit it with some green to kind of just add that kind of splotchiness to it. And I think it came out pretty good for like a jungle base, but we have to add some more texture to it because it's a little bland. It's a little basic. So that's what we're going to do. Now, one thing I need to do is I need to coat all of the basing in this. I'm not going to do this on stream, but this is PVA glue and water mixed together, and that'll lock down all of the loose sand. Even though we've airbrushed it, I was hoping the airbrush it would solve a lot of it. So, but yeah, we'll get all these pulled out, and then what we're going to do is I got a variety of materials we're going to be using. We have some of this train modeling moss, and we use this for the table. You see us use this a lot in our battle reports, but if you look here, we have a lot of shake on the bottom, right? Like you bought a bag of regs or something. So we're going to be using all that shake, and we're going to sprinkle it onto this. Then we also have some rocks. I've been using these. I'll probably go buy another bag of this stuff, but because I want to start including it on the snow basin just on the basin on a lot of my models. It's nice. It also adds weight because some of the Warlord models in plastic are kind of light, like the Fireflies. And then we got this, which Rev started bringing in. This is great. This is sick, kind of like mossy stuff. So we only need a very small amount of it, and we'll just drape it on each of these to kind of add the cohesive effect of that. It really brings the jungle look together when you put that stuff on there. Makes a big difference, I think. Christmas time is a good time for modelers because they have a lot of terrain in every store. I know. I was tempted to pick up... There's a dollar store near us, and I was tempted to pick up some... You know how they have those fake pine trees that are kind of in the cone shape? They sell them at, like, every hobby store and, like, dollar store during Christmas time. I was tempted to pick some up, but I didn't because these were kind of crap at my local dollar store. What I did find, which I'll show you this... Usually during Halloween, I get some cool stuff. So this is, I found some wooden mushrooms. So I'm going to incorporate these into my, eventually I want to make a Turnip 28 army, but I want to make like a cool fantasy, like kind of like fungus, forest terrain or like a swamp, or even put little dudes on top of these and have mushroom riders for Turnip 28 because it's all like vegetable based, you know what I mean? So you can find some really cool stuff at dollar store, or the Hobby Lobbies, like you said, around the holidays, random holidays. All right. Let's see. I actually got this. Let's go here. Let's just play. Random music. Okay. Let's get all these out. Start gluing and painting them up. We did get a copyright strike, but from my Epidemic Sound music that I pay for during the fishing highlight that I showed you guys. So we can keep looking for some video game soundtracks to listen to. I don't know how Mordian's playing like copyrighted music on his stream and like not, because if you get enough strikes, they can like demonetize you or take your stuff down. So I'm a little cautious with that, but try and stick to the safe stuff. All right. So we got all this jazz. What we need to do is glue it up. So I have something called Eileen's Tacky Glue. And this is fantastic. This stuff has worked out really well in the past, and it dries somewhat clear. So I think we could just take this. Maybe I could probably get a little piece of paper and put some on it or whatever. We could use a brush, or I could just dab it on here. Honestly, it's probably the easiest thing to do. And then we can put rocks, and we can put moss. And that's just going to add a lot of texture to this in general. We may need to thin it down and like add some water to it. But I don't want to see. Here's the thing. These are, I forgot what these are called. These boards you can get on Amazon. I don't think, is it MDF? I don't know. It's not MDF. It's I forgot the name of this stuff. You can get it. It's some sort of crafting stuff. But I use it as the base. But if we get it too wet, it will warp on us. So I don't want to like get it too wet. There's better material for this. This is just easy to cut. It's easy to use. It's cheap. It's like the backside of a notepad. You know, that thick sort of cardboard material. I forgot what it's called, though. There is a name for that particular material. But anyways, I guess let's try it with just the bottle. I want to see what's the easiest way for me to do this, to where the least hassle, the least fuss, and we can bang this out. The other stuff we're going to do is we're going to be chatting Konflikt. My grandma got me into the dollar store trees and little houses for Christmas when I was into modeling in my teens. We have some old stuff like that from the 90s, like little old figurines and stuff, like a little, there's like a nativity set, and there's also some other stuff like the little Christmas villages and stuff. I remember that from back in the day. You were into it too, Rev? Well, that explains the hobby. Why we gravitated towards this sort of hobby stuff so easily. You know what? What I am going to do is, I don't really have like a nice like a nice deposit tray here or something to do, but I'm gonna get a bunch of this stuff laid off to the side on this piece of paper here, so it doesn't make too much of a mess. And then we could just pinch from it and sprinkle it onto the glue is what we're going to do. It's been a while since I've made what I consider to be actually usable terrain. But I've done pretty good. I like a lot of the industrial stuff you see is just me gluing stuff together and spray painting it rusty colors. And then a lot of the trees that we use, they're either like the 3D printed ones, or we have the ones that I've made and stuff. So I don't have a ton of time nowadays to do this. Back before we were making tons of videos, this is what I was doing a lot, was making our terrain. Nowadays, Rev has his printer, and he can print like a freaking castle for us. So, but stuff like this, scatter terrain like this, that looks this particular way, you still need to kind of make stuff like this yourself, I think. You could easily, though, 3D print some sick stuff and then just airbrush it, but it's nice to take something like a dollar store plastic plant and, add some other things to it and try and... Because if we just glued this on here, it wouldn't necessarily look the same, but we're going to add the moss, we're going to add hanging moss, we're going to add rocks, we're going to add some different texture to it, so it'll help break it up. And the more little things and texture and detail that you add to terrain, the more realistic it looks. Because we're trying to scale down something, So, like, you could take a building, you can make a building, right? But it's like all the extra little tidbits and pieces that you add to it can add up and make such a big difference when you look at it from, 5 feet back. Alright, we don't want to go too crazy. But adding some rocks will be nice because we can also add a little weight, which is pretty good. Now, we'll see. This is a brand new bottle. Where's my pliers? I also did some painting, so we can take a look. We did some painting for the U.S. forces and adding decals and stuff, so I'm pretty happy with how that stuff came out. Continued working on the walkers we were working on stream the other day. I personally think the U.S. should have a Vulcan cannon, as the first one was designed in '46 and should be the nation to have railguns, as the U.S. made a working Sherman railgun prototype in World War II. Did they really? I mean, nowadays they actually have rail cannons, and they use them on naval ships. Like, we have them in the U.S., China has them, I think some other nations have them. Like, they have legitimate rail cannons. So that's an actual thing that's going to be part of future warfare, for sure. It seems like it's very popular with naval stuff, but I've seen Chinese tanks and stuff that seem to have them on them as well. But yeah, that's interesting. I guess maybe the thought process of what do you call it? Warlord is the crazy super weapons of the Axis, but I like your idea as a U.S. player. Where's my rail cannons? You know what I mean? I did not know that, though. There are photos of the prototype. There were some, I forgot, what's the one YouTube channel, the Tank Museum, I think their name is. They've done some I've seen some very interesting videos describing some wacky prototypes that were coming out at points of the war, especially later stages of the war, on both the Axis and the Ally side, for sure. Some truly bizarre and crazy creations they were coming up with to try and either solve some issues and then they were creating new ones probably in the process. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, I guess we can add some little, this side. I think I want a little bit here and there, right? A little bit more moss. That's pretty cool, though. I have to take a look. When I was doing all my bolt action painting and stuff, I went super deep. I mean, I go through phases of stuff that I get interested in, but there are a couple history channels that I've followed for years. But I went on a deep dive into World War II and all sorts of different units, history about Fallschirmjägers. They were one of the first airborne infantry troops ever. Pretty interesting. To be honest with you, I don't know if the Eileens will work that well for these rocks. I guess we'll have to see. I think super glue would probably be the best bet, but I think once we spray it down with the isopropyl alcohol and the PVA glue mix or whatever it is, Well, this is just water and PVA, but I think you use isopropyl alcohol for certain stuff. It's been a while since I've gone heavy in the terrain building. The reason why they designed it was because the Sherman sides held the ammo, so if it got hit, they go boom. So they thought the process was to remove the propellant from the shells and fire it from the railgun. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I know they had issues, right? With them catching fire and all sorts of stuff. One thing we learned, where you store your ammunition in a tank is very important. Just look at the modern day Russian tanks. Like, where you store your ammunition is very important. Like, I think today in the M1 Abrams, it's all stored in sealed compartments. They have these, like, metal sealed compartments that they open and close. But in, like, the T-70s or whatever I think they're using in Russia, with the autoloaders, the ammo is stored right beneath the gunner and everything. And it's pretty much exposed to the point to where if it gets hit, that's why you see the, what do you call it, the turret, like, being launched, like, hundreds of feet into the air. Mounting an Axis railgun bit onto a Centurion model, yep. Well, there's no one to say you can't have a railgun in your U.S. forces. It's just if, like, they're not cool, then they won't let you do it. I get disparaged a little bit from time to time with the U.S. shooting. I know they have HMGs and they have Tesla, but the Tesla's got +1, +2 pen. Against vehicles, it's good. But against my arch nemesis, the damn bears. And what I need is on my sound effect board, I need bear sounds, but I'll do a demon sound for them. What I need is a freaking railgun for those things to effectively kill them. It seems like. I know Tesla strips their cover, but Rev's dice are rigged. We've already figured this out, the Soviet ones. God, they roll a lot of 5s and 6s, so. I want to kill a bear and then hit another bear squad behind the bear with my rail cannon. So they technically don't have a rail cannon, right? They have the Shining cannon. So that means the U.S. could get a rail cannon. Just don't give them a Shining cannon. Give them something completely different. But you could always just use a Shining cannon stats. But the only thing I want besides Sherman railguns is the dual Tesla Pershing turret. Yeah. So what's the deal? Like, I 3D printed a top for my bolt action Sherman, my Warlord model, and it has the 2 Teslas. And there's nothing in the book though. There's no stats for like the dual Tesla gun or something. There's a light Tesla, and then there's a medium Tesla, right? Or there's no miniature, I think. There is stats. Let's take a look. I think there is stats, actually, right? One or the other. There isn't. You can't use it in the U.S., I think, at least. It might be in the book, but there's no unit in the U.S. that has it. One way or the other. I was like, how do I get this better Tesla? Yeah, the dual Tesla cannon. Here it is. 48-inch range, 2 shots, +3 pen, Tesla Arc 1. Tesla Arc 1. I thought it was 3. Okay. But I don't think that's in any of the U.S. forces at the moment, from what I can tell. So, maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, the Pershings are cool, for sure. In bolt action, I was like, oh, dude, maybe I should get one of those. They're so sick. And then I found out they, like, they were, like, they were used very little on the actual front near the end of the war. So I was, like, trying to, like, keep it somewhat purist with my bolt action in terms of, like, what forces would actually be together. Yeah, no, they're gonna add some stuff. I was watching Mordian streams today, and he was talking about how, you know, there is a potential little birdie thing, you know, told him they might potentially adjust some Japanese stuff or whatever. And I know they also have, like, new models for every faction that are coming on a roadmap, so they're going to be changing and doing all sorts of stuff. So I'm sure they'll be adding stuff. And you can use the Pershing. Yeah, I saw. I mean, it makes sense that a Pershing is late in the war. They started. I know they used them in Korea, right? Later in the war, it kind of ended, so they didn't really need these larger version. I mean, these bigger tanks than the Shermans or whatever. But it makes sense that in conflict they would definitely use them. You know. It also seems like though they've gravitated more towards Walker technology, right? I use the Sherman tank because it's probably one of the best units in my opinion when it comes to the Tesla cannon for cost, right? But in reality, like it seems like they use probably a ton of Walkers. I will say though, like the Tesla Sherman is just a good unit in general. The one they have now, I have to I have to tell myself if I'm doing something different. I'm like, all right, I guess I won't take the Tesla Sherman, but it's just so good usually. Usually does work. We got a bunch of these little suckers to do. I want to make a USMC power armor army for the vibes of Space Marines. I do like I don't like. We were talking about this the other day. Like, there's really no reason to actually, what do you call it? Hold on, just give me a sec. I'm gonna pull up some music. Because paragons are just better all around, right? So like, why would you even use them? But they look sick, and I think for the Marines they make sense, right? I mean, of course, the Paragons also kind of make sense for that, but I think the Paragons aren't part of the Marine Corps in the lore, right? If I'm not wrong. Actually, I have Konflikt pulled up. We could take a look. They mention, like... Let's take a look. Paragons. Oh yeah, I guess it doesn't say, huh? They were just pretty much created in Area 51 after being exposed to Rift energy, and I believe Slammer Samuels was the first one to like survive or something like that. Yeah, it doesn't say that whether they're like Army or Marines, so you could just use them whatever. I do like the look, though, of the... I mean, these would easily fit in the jungle, like, Marine-type setting. But I do like the look of the power armor guys for some Marines, too, or something. I want to use my Tesla Sherman, but it was from my old K-47 set I got from my dad's from 2022, so I don't have Rift Dice. Yeah, you just use D6. Just use a D6 dice for your Rift Dice. And use it, I mean, you probably have different color order dice if you're worried about, like, pulling dice out of the bag. Just throw in some other color order dice. You could always use that as well. You see me a lot, we're using different color order dice because we don't have enough Rift Dice at the moment. We got to get more, but it kind of sucks to spend money on dice. I'm not a fan of it. We got to buy order dice and Rift Dice. Luckily, most were included in my starter set, but yeah. You can just use D6. You don't have to buy Rift Dice. And like Rev said, 4 and 5 is active, and 6 is surging. So what you do is when you pull your D6 out of the bag, or at the end of the turn if you're rolling for it, a 4 and 5 is active, and a 6 is surging. That's how the dice are set up on like a Rift Dice. And there, you're good to go. Believe me, I wish we had full Rift Dice, but I still use... other color order dice. I'm sure people get confused by it, but whatever. We're working on a budget around here. Hey Nick, what's going on? I just got into the hobby and I had a bit of a tough time removing the flash from the miniatures. Do you have any advice or techniques? Plastic. You're talking about the So you're talking about, when you say flash, are you talking about like the resin printed ones that are like plastic that you can trim? Here, I'll show you. Or are you talking about this? Are you talking about this sprue style? Either way, the metal ones are kind of tricky, but no matter what, I use a hobby knife. So, for instance, we could show you real quick. Rev's printing some 3D, printing some torsos and jetpacks and shoulder pads for these Firefly torsos because they come with extra ones. So we're going to add 6 more Fireflies to the U.S. forces. The mold lines. Yeah, so I'll show you. So you take your hobby knife like this. Now this one's it's not even that sharp right now because I've used it so much. So you need to be careful. But what you do is you just take your hobby knife, right? And I can't even see the mold lines because Warlord is freaking top notch. Let me see if I can see it on the camera. It's crazy. You can't even see the mold lines with Warlord. It's on camera. If this was a 40K miniature, you'd see it from a mile away probably. But so there is some right there. So what I can do is, for instance, I just take my hobby knife like this, and I just scrape lightly like this. And I just took that mold line off right there. And hold on, you guys might not see it. I'm just trying to see it myself. Okay, so there's a little mold line right here running down like this. So all you do is you take your knife and you just clean up that specific spot like that. And just watch your fingers. You can use your thumb like this to kind of support it so you don't cut yourself. You're just scraping it is what you're doing. And I like to go one way. You can go back and forth, but I like to go one way, really. The knife, even this is not that sharp, right? Can't even cut the paper. Like, it can barely cut the paper. So it's not even that sharp. So it still is fine enough point to scrape it. And then, for instance, where you cut it off like this, you're just going to do the same. Come on, zoom on me. Here we go. Like this. Again, try not to cut yourself, so use your thumb like this. Same thing right here. Just clean up that foot. Clean up where you cut it off. There's another spot here where we cut it off. We're just going to clean that up. And you just follow the mold line up and around. There's going to be some on the inside of the leg, so you just do the same like this. Warlord are really good. I know maybe some models are different, but like the US and Axis ones I got, I think maybe one of the Axis ones had a little bit of extreme. When I say extreme, I mean compared to this, you know. Probably normal for any miniature company. Yep, that's it. It takes a little bit, but it's worth it because, you know, it's easy to be like, it'll be fine. But when you paint it, it's so easy to see the mold lines. You'll be like, damn it, I wish I cleaned it up. So it's worth taking the time. You like the miniatures? Because I like a little weight. Every time I pick up the one of Rev's Japanese power armor or his bears, I'm like, oh my god, dude, there's some heft to this thing. I do like the weight of a metal miniature. I do. But I feel like if you drop that on your foot from a table, like, you're going to break your toe. You got to watch out. I saw a video that says the Fireflies are taller than regular infantry, even though they should be. Yeah, I saw that too. It's just a little size discrepancy, but whatever. Like, if you hold them up next to each other, they are slightly taller. So either that was like slightly an overstep, or maybe they just take the taller dudes to be a Firefly. You know, those jetpacks are heavy. They're not genetically modified. They're just like, they're taking all the basketball players and all the like football, like, you know, the dudes from like high school sports. Do you want to serve your country? All the big boys. But yeah, it either might be a, like they didn't mean to do that. I don't know. Paragons are bigger, that's for certain. They were exposed to the rift, so they're just big boys now. 6 foot versus 5'9". Yeah, not really that big of a difference in reality, I guess. Maybe on tabletop, and when you scale it down, it's a little bit more evident. But if you had a 5'9" dude next to a 6 foot dude, it's not like you're gonna be like, oh my god, Short King, like making fun of the guy, you know. Like, is that your baby brother? Who's that guy? But on miniature wise, it stands out a little bit more because of the size when you scale it down. That looks pretty good. You notice the difference? I'm trying to stand up for you. I'm saying 5'9" is not that much different than 6 foot. I'm like 5'11" if I stand up straight, 6 foot, but barely standing up straight. I like the scaling though of Warlord with the miniatures. They look good. Some of the older bolt action stuff is a little bit smaller, but I think even between my metal bolt action and my newer plastic kits, there's some size differencing. Like, I have the U.S. Winter Army kit, and there's a lot of plastic, like, new Warlord U.S. Army models in there. And the metal Command Squad miniatures are, like, significantly shorter and smaller in stature than the new plastic miniatures. Not, like, to the point to where it's, like, Warhammer size creep. But, like, there is a noticeable difference if you hold them up next to each other. On the table, you can't tell, but if you're, like, holding them up next to each other, you'll see it. So even I noticed it, like, with the bolt action stuff, with some of the newer stuff versus the older stuff. But, again, it's not like going from a Firstborn Marine to a Primaris Marine sort of size difference. Which is good, because if they start making it to where they start changing and power creeping the size, then you start running into stuff to where your certain miniatures don't look right on the table compared to others. So I don't think it's that bad. I think they did a good job. But it is worth noting, right? You know, you don't want Warlord to start making everything larger every couple of years, like one company does. Bigger and badder and even more trim to paint gold on your Chaos Space Marines. Mwahaha! God. I painted so many raptors and warp talons with gold trim during our Warhammer time that I absolutely refuse to ever paint one again. Never again. I remember Rev was starting his Thousand Sun army. I was like, alright, good luck with that. You're going to be painting trim the whole time. He's got a bunch of 3D prints up. Or he's got some real ones too. But it's the GW ones. They have so much detail. That's why they look so sick. But oh my god, dude. Painting those things was like... And then, you know, I painted them gold. And then I realized that my Emperor's Children are supposed to have black for the trim, and I went back and painted it all black, and I said I'm never doing it again. So I actually painted it twice on my entire army. So you can like see a little gold under the black, like they're covering up their history or something. Well, there's just the classic like black or whatever, the what's it called in Warhammer, the Chaos Space Marine Raptors in like black with the gold trim, you know. I painted them kind of like that, or purple with gold trim for my Emperor's Children. And then what do you call it? Because that's kind of how I saw everyone doing it. And then I did some more research and I was like, no, it's supposed to be black. They're just all jagged edges. It looks, like I said, fantastic, but my god, painting that was like so much of a pain. Do look good when you're done though. That's like, I need to crack a beer open after you get the Raptors done. For sure. Alright. Oh, working away. Now I do want to hang. I was thinking, do I hang the hanging moss on before I spray it with all the glue mixture? But yeah, I think I do, because then it'll lock down all of that hanging moss, so it's not going to be falling off every time we grab these out of a box. So hopefully it's somewhat sunny tomorrow, and then what I'll do is I'll take all this and I'll spray it with a watered down PVA mix, and it'll lock down any of the sand, lock down any of the moss, the rocks, and it'll just stop it from falling off or anything. Because the Aleen's will work pretty good, but the plastic glue goes a long way. Yep, true. Oh, I do want to show off too. I did a fair bit of work because we painted up some mechs the other night. And I did a fair bit of work to those to finish them off. I might need to go back and like rustify some of it. But I also did a bunch of like decal stuff and finished up a character and did some more work to Slammer Samuels and stuff. So there's still more stuff I got to do. I got to do a lot of like highlighting and work on, maybe do like a wash on the fireflies and then highlight the edges on their fabric to make them look better. Not only has Rev been motivating me to spend some more time painting, because I used to love painting. That was like the #1 thing I loved about this hobby, almost more so than playing the game, was painting. But I just don't have time, so I kind of fell out of it. But joining the Konlfikt 47 Discord and seeing some fireflies and mechs, I'm like, damn, I gotta step up my game. Looking good. Looking good. Let me close that. Got this. Bada bing, bada boom. But yeah, we got the new battle report out now. Just came out today. Soviets versus the Green Hand. And we also have, we should have new emotes. We have all of the 5 factions minus the Axis, because who needs an Axis emote when you have a Green Hand emote? Let's go. So we were trying to figure out, I was talking to Rev too, I was like, what sort of emote should I make? Because I know Mordian has his like faction emotes, but the thing is, this isn't like Twitch to where emotes can be used between different channels. So it's just essentially channel exclusive. So there's really no reason why we shouldn't have some faction emotes, you know? If it was like Twitch or something, then I wouldn't want to, I mean, I am streaming on Twitch right now on my LI Flies mic channel, but I'm just doing that just for anybody that enjoys watching on Twitch. Shout out to the Twitchers. But if it was like the way emotes work on Twitch, I wouldn't use it because Mordian has them, so, you know. I would make something different, but it's just our channel, so. We got some faction emotes. We got some, excuse me, we got some channel point badges. Made some D6 badges. We're just adding some stuff to the channel slowly. Alright. Stuff is looking good. I don't want to like add too much, right? Because I could go kind of overboard. But I may lightly sprinkle some more of this stuff when I spray it outside. And just get like very tiny bits. Or maybe like some like flock type stuff. But this is fine. I don't want to like go too overboard too, you know. Right now I'm already kind of making it to now where you can't, it's harder to put Warlord minis on it because they're all flat bases. But that's okay. Yeah, we got some faction emotes. Yeah, we got the new game just came out today. It's doing good too. I gotta say, shout out, I appreciate everyone that watches the videos. And you know, each battle report seems to be doing better and better and better, so in terms of like views. The whole idea is we want to just spread the good word about Konlfikt to everybody, so more eyes we can get on it, the better. So I'm glad that hopefully people are enjoying the battle reports. Even though Rev Oh, I don't want to spoil it, but it was a good game as always. I'll say that. I will say though, next game, I'm going try hard mode. Not with my list, but with my tactics. Half of my army is going to be jump US. So I'm jumping right on top of the Japanese, and I'm flamethrowing all of your units. That's the goal, at least. It's going to be one of the games where I'm going to be like waiting to go, like for him to go, but he's going to be waiting for me to go, and it's going to end up with like a standoff, and then I end up like I need to like just commit and jump in with the Fireflies. I haven't used the jump much. I haven't used jump with a walker like once. So I'm excited to test out some of the stuff that is supposed to make Fireflies actually like good unit, you know? Hey, Nick, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you for the super chat. Love the videos and all the editing you put into them. You helped me get into Konflikt. Oh, Nick, thank you so much. That's what we like to hear. And thank you for the super chat. That is so kind. You didn't have to do that. But that is very much so appreciated. We'll put that towards some FDM resin for Rev. Because he's got that sucker fired up. We got terrain. We got bodies. We got knocked Jaegers. We got all sorts of stuff coming out, so... But thank you, my friend. Appreciate that. And speaking of which, first off, round of applause for Nick. Thank you so much. Get the George emotes in the chat. George will be the emote on the channel that we'll use for every emotion there is. Good, bad, everything. Mostly good. But Rev he's got a huge... what do you call it? He got a bunch of stuff from Warlord. So he's got Japanese, Soviet. He got a bunch of stuff coming. So shout out to Rev for putting in the... he's hard carrying on this channel. I just do all the editing, the filming, and all that. He's the faction master, so... But thank you again, Nick. Appreciate that. What faction first? What do you mean? What's that? How's the, too, I didn't think about this. How's the delay on the stream? Are we good? This is the one issue I've seen with YouTube is to where at times there's like a delay that forms. So I have the latency on low or whatever I think it is, but... When I watch YouTube streams, I notice this. I fall behind a lot. I don't know why. But I'll have to like fast forward a little bit every time from time. So I haven't actually tested that with this stream. Hopefully I have the settings good. I got the starter set, so I have Green Hand and US. Okay, just to let you know, they are technically the Green Vault. Because I feel like I'm confusing a lot of people. Now, if you want them to be a subchapter of the Green Hand, I will have Colonel von Liechtenstein approve it. And you could be the 2nd Battalion. Okay? But it is technically the Green Vault. I feel like Warlord's going to be like, hey, people will be calling up like, hey, do you got the new Green Hand stuff coming out? They'll be like, what the hell are you talking about? They'll be like, this damn Mike Rolls Dice guy is screwing everything up. Green Vault? No, Green Vault sucks. I want the Green Hand. This sucks. Where's the Green Vault stickers? I mean, the Green Hand stickers. Yeah, hell yeah. So you got the Green Hand, obviously. The 2nd Battalion, of course. Approved by Colonel von Liechtenstein. And you have the US. Okay, nice. So which starter set did you get? Did you get the box that I got? Like the little starter box? That comes with some Stall Troop and some Fireflies? Or did you get the big boy starter set that comes with it comes with like freaking what was it, Nachtjägers or something? The bigger one that comes with the walkers. But does it come with the Vogelspin and the linebacker just, or does it come with what was it, 2 linebackers and like There was the Panzer mech or something. I forgot. They had a couple different ones. We can take a look, actually. Let's take a look. It's good to stay on top of what they got going on over there at Warlord. Was it this one? Just the Vogel. Yeah, this is what I bought. Yeah. This is what I got. Yeah, this is good. So, if you have a 3D printer, 3D print torsos. So what you can do is, you could 3D print these torsos. You get 4 more Stalltroopen, I think it is. Because they come with 5 legs on each sprue, and there's 3 on a sprue. Or, if you don't have a 3D printer, I did make a video. Now, I'm not the best sculptor, but I did make a video on how you just take green stuff, you jam it on the legs, make it kind of look like this, and you can like just stick some plastic pieces on there if you really wanted to make some like armor shape, and then you just stick the arms and the head on there. And half of my Stalltroopen are green stuff torsos. So that's a little pro tip. Now Fireflies are a little harder because you can actually make an additional 6 Fireflies in this set if you get torsos, backpacks, and shoulder pads, which is only 1 shoulder pad on 1 arm, so that's nice, by the way. But yeah, this is great. This is what we have. These are my only official Konflikt models, by the way. I don't own any other official Konflikt models other than Slammer Samuels and Roberto Wells, which Rev picked up for me from Warlord. But other than that, this is all I got. The rest are all either bolt action units that I've modified, or they're 3D prints. So I really need to expand my official range, but we're working on a budget. So once we get ad revenue on the channel and, what do you call it, we start earning a little ad revenue, we can start getting some more models. Yeah, there's also this one. I'm not a fan, I'm going to be honest with you. I like the old Knocked Ballins, I think they're called. I did see this guy. This guy actually looks pretty cool. Oh, I'm jealous. There's a Stalltrooper model I don't have. I guess he's just got a cape, so he's not like Colonel von Liechtenstein. Is that Colonel von Liechtenstein with a helmet? It might be. Or is that a different model altogether? Where is Colonel von Liechtenstein? No, that's him. Is it? No, that's not him. He doesn't have a cape in the front. That's a different model. There is a different model! Oh, I need that. Yo, Warlord, send that over, bro. Come on, I need that Stalltrooper. Look at that. That's cool. I like that. That looks sick. Hit me up, Warlord. Come on, where are you at? Oh, who's that guy? That guy looks cool. Hell yeah, brother. He's reloading. Oh, he's got a freaking trench shotgun on his side? That looks sick. Look at that. Hell yeah. Oh, look, his wings are folded up, too. Wow, that's cool. I haven't seen that before. Yeah, with the books. Yep. Yeah, what I wanted to look at, it was the new. Yeah, here we go. We looked at this the last time, but... Dude, this looks sick. This is what I was telling Rev he should get. Apparently the Merlin is where it's at, but this looks just better than the Merlin to me. But what do I know? I'm a US player, so I like guns. This guy looks sick. Yeah, it's got a Tesla. What Tesla is this? Is this the, this isn't a dual Tesla, right? Is this a medium Tesla? This thing looks... I love this model. This model looks amazing. I really like that one. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this. I like the older ones. I will say I do like the new Japanese stuff. I still like the one Rev has. Rev has the older mini metal ones, but I do like the look of these. I do like the look of. They kind of went for like the samurai sort of like demon look, you know. Let me see. What did I miss? Yo, San Diego, what's up? The Rift Buster. That's the Rift Buster pack. Yeah. Still waiting on the damn Soviet starter set. I may have to go with another faction. Yo, John, so apparently Mordian said something too. He got an update. They're like working on, they're like getting back, or they're making them or something. I don't know. They are going to have them finished at some point here soon, I think. The plastic bears got bumped up, so I expect the starter set will be available when they come out. I suggest getting a Daughters of the Motherland box and 2 packs of base guns to start while you wait. Those in the Kusak's painting up? Oh, okay, nice. The samurai look for the Japanese is so cool, but from every video I've seen, they seem a little underpowered. Well, again, Nick, thank God for Morty Glory, the official. He's like the Valrak of Warlord. You know what I mean? You know how Valrak pretty much just like officially leaks everything for 40K. Morty mentioned today on stream that apparently, because we've had this happen a lot. This is not like. We've made quite a few videos with the Japanese now. I don't know how many. I could take a look. But we've had multiple people say that, like, you know, they're kind of disappointed in how they play a lot of times. I think they're good. But I think definitely some of the factions comparable to, like, let's say the Soviet and the Axis and maybe the U.S. probably need some help. This is how I rate them. But so this is what they said. They're gonna make some changes to the Japanese and to basic infantry, is what Mordian was saying, potentially from a little birdie he heard. So that means we've had a lot of like people comment about how the Japanese seem like they underperform for them and all this and that in our battle reports. So, and apparently like they haven't been doing well in battle reports as well. So. Who knows? They might be getting like a buff or something. I don't know. This will if they, you know, I think this will be like the first like change to units or something if they do anything. You're not the only person that's told us that. So it seems to be like a common complaint we get in our Japanese battle reports because. The majority of the time they've lost, except for just recently against the Commonwealth. Well, they've won, I think, maybe once or twice before. But there were times where it felt like they were very outgunned, even though they have cool units and stats. But we also were playing them pretty badly. Like, Rev completely forgot that they have hard to kill on the Ghost Squad, which was, like, a pretty big deal. But, I mean, for the most part, I feel like he does a good job. You got to realize Rev is like a master wargamer. He doesn't you can't tell because you don't hear the entire game, but he's a pro gamer, so he understands like the mechanics and all that very well. So that being said, though, we've definitely had them, they felt like they underperformed at times. I will say Konflikt isn't the most balanced game. I don't think it necessarily has to be the most balanced game, but they could definitely do some adjusting. Like, if for power rating, I'll give you my power rating. It goes Soviets. I'm biased because of the Bears, but I really think the Bears are the best unit in the game. So it goes Soviets, then Axis, then US, then it would probably be the UK, and then the Japanese. The UK and the Japanese are like kind of tied near the bottom. I've heard people complaining about the Merlin. Like, we played only a couple games with the Commonwealth, so they don't seem like that crazy. But I could see probably with a certain list, and using the mechanics properly, because we're both just still learning, like, these new armies. Then you could do pretty good with them. Like, the Merlin in particular is like a powerhouse unit. I don't know if the Japanese necessarily have a powerhouse unit. You know what I mean? In terms of that regard. But they do have new miniatures, like Tabletop Command Post. He played with that new walker, I think, just recently. That thing looks sick. I love the look of that new walker, so... You know, maybe they need a little buff or something. I'm sure they'll need to do adjusting, right? Make Drugov 1,000 points, right? And, you know, yeah. You know what I'm talking about? We had to stop using Drugov. The last game we played him, people were like, can you stop using Drugov? And we're like, yep, okay, you got it. Because he was just killing everything. He's so good. He's the... I'm sorry, Drugov's the best unit in the game, but I don't consider Drugov to be in conflict anymore because he was sent to Siberia, so he's in timeout till the other heroes can compete. God, he's so good. We had to send him to Siberia. He was just too dominant. That was just funny, like multiple people were like, can you not use him anymore? I'm like, yeah, you got it. Because why wouldn't you want to use Drugov? He's such a cool model, and he's so good. So, of course, Rev's going to want to use him, right? But every time we played him, I'm like, God damn, this stupid bear, man. I hate you. They're like, don't worry, he's gone for a while, that asshole. I was going to do an introduction in this video, like a short story where, like, a Russian officer is talking to, like, Rev's platoon commander. And they're like, sir, where is Drugov? And they're like, he's like, we had to send him to Siberia. He was getting too powerful. Stalin was starting to fear that he might start a revolution and overthrow him. You know, like, come up with, like, a story. But I was like, it's fine. I'm lazy. I could do a little short animated thing with a miniature one day. Because I've been thinking, what are other videos that I could do here on the channel other than just Konflikt 47 battle reports? We will be playing other games, but me and Rev talked about it. He said a good idea where I want to play other games here on the channel, like Turnip 28. We might even get into like Old World one day or whatever. And there's other like Warlord games. Like there's a ship one Rev may want to try out. I would like to try other games, but we're not gonna like we're gonna make sure we keep the Konflikt coming. So if we do decide to film a one-page rules battle report, we'll make sure we keep, you know, it doesn't take place of a Konflikt video. But I am trying to think of what other sort of videos I can make that are Konflikt related and things like that. So slowly trying to do some brainstorming, think of some ideas. But so we may try and diversify and do some more Konflikt related stuff that's just not battle report, you know, in addition to the battle report stuff here soon. I don't know what. I need to figure it out. But potentially like little condensed not a battle report, but like a story, but played in Konflikt. You know, like maybe there's like a little, like this lone soldier needs to get past this bridge where the Axis are, and you know, and I film it in a way that's kind of like, it's not even like a battle report, it's like a little mission. I don't even need Rev here, I can just play it by myself as well. But I think the best way to get better is to watch veteran bolt action games. Yeah, I mean, it's quite literally like the same game, right? Just with the addition of rift weaponry, but I know if you compare a Kehoe to a Vogel, the points don't make sense. Yeah, somebody also mentioned it, how points don't necessarily align to certain things in one of our comments and stuff. I take a Maschensphere over a Shibiru cannon. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a discrepancy, right? But, you know, I think they have room to add more units and different types of stuff, you know? Or give units maybe potentially, you know, maybe give the Japanese some sort of like melee capabilities or something to make up for the lack of AP and shooting. If you want to stay punky stuff, you can look into Armored Combat, Dystopian Wars. Okay. Is that a what is that? Tabletop game or? Yeah, I don't know if we were I don't know. I know we're probably going to play some Bolt Action because we do like Bolt Action, and we got into Bolt Action before Konflikt. So, like, Rev has, like, the new, I think, Japanese stuff and, like, the Soviet stuff from Warlord. So we're going to be doing some Bolt Action. But, like, I do want to, there are some other games that I enjoy playing, and I want to get into, like, potentially, like, Turnip 28 and some other stuff. And I do enjoy one-page rules. Different games like that. But I also like, there's also like miniature agnostic games, right? Like one-page rules. There's like Space Weirdos. I have a bunch of different tabletop games that I've like collected over the years. Or war games. Skirmish games, stuff like different stuff. But I will have to check, what's that one? 15 mil dystopian war is a naval dystopian wars is their naval game. Ah, okay. Look into armored combat. Dystopian wars. Okay, we'll take a look. I fear a little peacock is going to break in at any minute and try to steal your jungle terrain because he thinks he can smoke it. Nah, he also goes by smell. Little peacock is a connoisseur of the Rift Kush, and you could smell that as you're like driving up the neighborhood when somebody's burning Rift Kush. Smell it down the block. He might try and break in and just steal anything of value. Little peacock. So I'll let you know. You've convinced me to try and find a little peacock miniature. I haven't commissioned a custom one. I'm just looking for some dude with a ski mask. We found a War Games Atlantic $50 box where there's 2 guys with a ski mask. And I found a couple 3D prints where there's like 1 or 2 dudes with ski masks. But if anyone can find a 3D STL or a real miniature where there's a guy with a ski mask that could fit potentially in the Konflikt world, he doesn't even necessarily have to look like a, you know, just not super futuristic or something, you know. He could look like modern day ish. But ideally kind of a little bit older timeline, but we've been looking. I already have I wrote out a whole plot. Don't worry about it. You convinced me. Damn you, Squig Herder. Damn you. Hey, Tabletop Command Post. How's it going? How's it going, dude? How'd your Paragons come out? I saw you, I was watching the last battle report. I saw you have, excuse me, I think you have War Games Atlantic minis you were using for the Paragons, right? They look great. They fit the theme, like, perfectly. Yeah, so here's, I'll let you guys in a little secret. Do you want to know the real secret sauce? I want to come up with a custom faction. I know. I don't have a gasp sound effect. So I'll do a demon sound. I'll do a witch. But I need to get a gasp sound effect. But I want to come up with a custom faction for a custom country. So we want to come up with a Turkish K-47 army because my father's Turkish. I'm Turkish. So what do you call it? That's kind of like in the back, going on in the back. That's kind of what we're working on. So we're trying to find like the right looking miniatures to fit like an Ottoman, Turkish World War II. So there's World War I miniatures I found, and then there's also semi-futuristic Turkish-inspired like troops, Ottoman-style troops for some other games. So that's the idea, is to make a Turkish, excuse me, Konflikt faction, and either use them as a pre-made faction or come up with our own faction and like our own rules. Try and do something fun. Jumped in and heard Paragons. I like Paragons. I love Paragons. Have 2 Paragons left, and then I will have an army of 20. Oh! A man after my own heart. Think about the amount of guts you're going to be generating per turn. Oh my god. You're going to run 4 or 5. Yeah, you're going to be generating 4 points of guts a turn. Oh, I love it. I'll let you in on a secret of why Paragons are so good. They literally, at first I read it. No, that's once per game. It's once per game turn. Somebody had to comment and correct me in one of my videos. I'm like, oh my god. When I found out about that, I had like a freaking, it was like, you know, the Tim and Eric meme where like Eric's like, he's doing the mind explosion thing, like that was you, Bad Rabbit. There you go. I had to go back and read it, double check. I was like, there's no way. And I was like, they're the greatest unit in the game. They may not be bears, but it is so good. They're such a value machine. So here's a little secret. This is what I haven't been doing, but what I should. I should keep a squad of Paragons. So here's the deal, too. Like, you want to move them up the board because they have 2 heavy Teslas. Of course you're going to use the 2 heavy Tesla rifles. Then you have an assault rifle, and you, what do you call it? And you have close combat weapons on all of them. That's how I run them generally now. Because previously you could only have 1 heavy Tesla rifle, and then they changed it. So you could have 2, I think. And they can all have close combat weapons, which is a good upgrade. Actually, a pretty good upgrade. So that is something I didn't realize. Like, they have changed some stuff, right? They have made changes to the game. But that being said, what do you call it? I usually run them like that, and I never really get to shoot with them. Like, I usually spend most of my time, like, just moving them up the board. But then I also forget half the time they come with Infiltrator, so that kind of solved my issues. I said, okay, I'm going to forward deploy them, right? But I think what I may try and start doing with them is use them with, like, mechs. And, like, or use them with, like, high-value shooting units. Generate guts and just keep them hidden somewhere next to a tank. And generate the guts, use the tank twice per turn. Generate the guts every turn and have Paragons with 1 mech, Paragons with another tank, Paragons with this unit of Fireflies located somewhere. And even if I infiltrate them, then I could jump down with another unit and just keep them hidden the whole time. So, I think I need to start using them a little differently and use them as, like, freaking guts boys, essentially. And worry less about them even, like, shooting and fighting. Because their Tesla guns are good, but 18 inches is, like, you know, it can be pretty big on a K-47 map at times. Yeah, I was, like, figuring that's probably the way to go, you know what I mean? You run 24 Paragons in my Paragon force, and they're so good that they can get... Oh, it's so good that they can all get... Oh, yeah. Because it sucked. You had the one dude with the heavy Tesla rifle who couldn't. So, and I love the heavy Tesla rifle because it has an assault profile. So even if you do get into, like, close combat range, the heavy Tesla is still pretty good, right? They are a better version of the assault frame. Same 3+1 attacks, but also all their other rules. Yeah. Hey, Private John. Well, appreciate it, man. Well, yeah. Well, we have to step up our game, dude. Every time I watch Tabletop Command Post, I'm like, look at all. He's got like hundreds of little jungle bushes everywhere. I'm like, that's what I want my table to look like when we're playing jungle. It's so easy to be like, you know, you don't want to put too much stuff, but think about it. It's like a freaking jungle, you know, like, so I sat down, I was like, I got to make like 20, 30 pieces of these. So it's just simple, dollar store, like plants and hot glued with some, leftover XPS foam from making other terrain. And then, Mod Podge paint, brown paint, sprinkle some sand, airbrush it, and now we're just gluing more. The more stuff, little tidbits you put on there, the better it looks when you zoom out, right? So. But yeah, I want to make a... I got distracted. I do want to make a custom Turkish army. So we're starting to look for, like, kind of like, Ottoman / Turkish / you know. Because, I mean, they're technically not in the Middle East. They're technically in... what do you call it, on the edge of Europe and Central Asia or whatever. But that sort of like Ottoman World War One-ish sort of look, because they were neutral for pretty much all of World War II, and then they did end up joining the Ally side near the end. So they are going to be, the way I'm thinking that the Turkish are going to work, or the Turks, or that they could potentially have like Lend-Lease vehicles. So who's to say they maybe didn't get some early iterations of walkers from the U.S., or maybe from the Brits, or maybe they have some Shermans and stuff like that. Because I actually looked up the history. They ended up getting some really crappy Soviet tanks that they never used. But then, what do you call it? They ended up also getting some American and British equipment. But, so they did have Soviet tanks in World War II, but they were like literally a tank with just a machine gun. And even the Turks that weren't at war at the time, well, they probably were fighting with the Greeks on and off. They were like, these things suck. We don't want these things. They took them just to take them, you know what I mean? But even the Soviets were using American tanks in World War II. So maybe do some Lend-Lease stuff. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, he's got the elite terrain for sure. Elite terrain mode for sure. Quite the catalog. And that's the nice thing about Bolt Action and Konflikt 47 is it's like a year or two apart. So other than the wacky stuff like this the Rift Juice containers and stuff like that, you can use Bolt Action terrain and all that. And obviously, if you don't know, Tabletop Command's post channel is not only Konflikt, but he's been making Bolt Action videos for years. Amazing ones, so highly recommend checking them out if you haven't. But, so all that Bolt Action terrain just carries over to Konflikt so nicely. We came from Warhammer and one-page rules and fantasy and, like, you know, D&D and stuff, so we don't have a ton of, like, historic wargaming, like, Bolt Action style terrain, so we're having to, like, make a lot of this stuff. I still think the Paragons are way better than the, So you're talking about assault frame as, is there American assault frame, or are you just talking about the Japanese assault frame? But the Paragons only have 6-man squads, where the assault frame have 10-man, if I recall correctly. Assault frame coming at 240 points for a full squad. Yeah, but what's a Paragon squad with close combats is what, like 90 something, I forget, and 2 Tesla rifles. So if you just add 3 more dudes, like, so what, 180 something points for like 6 Paragons versus 240 for assault frame. Are these Japanese assault frame, or do Americans also have assault frame infantry? I haven't looked at too much of the American power armor. I will say every time that Rev has run an assault frame infantry squad into 3 Paragons, he's smashed them, but, you know, that's not a full Paragon squad. That being said, I do think Paragons are just a better unit in general with their abilities than if we're talking about Japanese assault frames. The Japanese assault frame are very good, but I think the battle frame infantry with the cannons are just better, personally. But 39 plus 1 pen melee attacks for 240 points is wild. True. I have said, every time he rolls 30 attacks with the assault frame infantry or whatever, or like you said, because one has a different weapon or whatever, he usually cleans everything up, for the most part. Unless it's something that's toughness 8 or 7. 6 Paragons with combat blades should handle, or close combat weapons should handle most things anyway. Yeah. Except for the bears. But yeah. I bet you 6 Paragons could take down 3 Stall Trooping with their toughness 7, because they get the +1. They should have enough attacks, no problem. It's one thing Stall Trooping are lacking their melee for sure. But that's what Shrek Wolfen are for and Nachtjäger. Nothing can kill the bears. I left that little thing in. Somebody got a crack out of it. Me saying, I win, I killed the bears. That's what our Soviet games turn into. It's me just trying to kill the squad of bears for my own moral high ground victory. I did it! Meanwhile, Rev scored all of the objectives. Which assault frame are we talking about here? Are we talking? You're talking about the Japanese, right? Let me take a look at the U.S. list. They just have regular power armor, right? I've not once looked at the American power armor. Yeah, they just have regular power armor, dudes. So you're talking about Japanese, okay? Yeah, these are the heavy infantry. Yep. Excuse me. Yeah, and these guys are nothing really to write home about, huh? No, not really. It comes standard with LMGs. That's kind of nice. Yeah. Have you run? I'm not going to spoil it, Tabletop Command Post. New battle report up today. And we finally Rev 3D printed. We haven't gotten the official Schreckwolf models yet. We will at some point. But Rev 3D printed up some random werewolves, and we tested them out. 3 bears versus 3 Schreckwolfen. Now, nobody spoil it if you did see it. But, chat, what do you think? Who do you think would win? I'm going to be honest with you. It was extremely close. Extremely close. Now, let me ask you this. The Ursine Fury ability is infinitely better than the Wolf ability because for that particular instance of that fight, the Howl at the Moon ability doesn't affect a fearless unit. That's what at least we figured out. I hope it's wrong. I wish Warlord was like, nope, the Howl at the Moon ability just affects all units within 8 inches. But I think if you're fearless, then you are unaffected by any morale test. And the Howl at the Moon ability is a morale check or something like that. But if they had the Howl at the Moon ability, then it would have been much better because they would have been able to fight first, for instance. But it still was extremely close, believe it or not. I'm not going to say who won, but it was extremely close. I still think the Bears are better, but I was definitely impressed by the Schreckwolfen and what they could do. So here's what I did. And I'm not going to try and spoil it, but the trick is you want to keep your Riff Mastery. You want 2 points of Riff Mastery on your platoon commander or your German or your Axis leader. Then you take your Schreckwolfen, you make them, you know they're going to fight the Bears, and I knew this was going to happen. I baited Rev into charging my stall trooping with the Bears, and then I took Colonel von Liechtenstein, and I used his Riff Mastery to give the Schreckwolfen surging, so they were toughness value 8. Now, I will say, if they weren't toughness value 8, they would definitely not have done as good because the Bears get 1 more pen and like 1 more attack or something. I don't know. They just have way better melee than the Wolves in general when they're using the Ursine Fury. But if you can, what you do is you give them surging on, you give up the Rift Mastery dice from the platoon commander. You keep the surging dice. You never take it down to active. You just always keep it, and then you use your other Rift dice for Howl at the Moon, or you just don't even use it, whatever. But it was good. I was impressed. They did a good job. I'm looking forward to using more Schreckwolfen in the future. I think they're a really good unit, and they give the Bears a run for their money for sure. If you give them that surging dice, but I guess the same could be said if you give the Bears surging too. Then they're toughness 8, and then it's if the Bears were toughness 8 and the Schreckwolfen were both toughness 8. You know, them not being able to use their Howl at the Moon ability or whatever is a really big deal. So if they changed it in the wording to where it's like every unit is affected or whatever, the Schreckwolfen would be so much better. Because that, like, let's be honest, the Schreckwolfen's the sort of unit you want to use for like anti-bear, anti-stall trooping, right? You want them, they're very tough in terms of, they're good at taking down heavy units. But if that unit's fearless, you know. My first game with my girlfriend had Schreckwolfen charge into the Ursus using the Relentless ability from Gross. I don't know what that is, and it was a bloodbath. They wiped each other out. Yeah, they're a good fight. It's not like it's like, oh man. It's like, no. You could definitely take out an entire Ursus infantry unit with the Schreckwolfen. It's just usually what I bet you what's going to happen is, like, I'm going to say 60-70% of the time is probably the bears will end up winning in the amount of wounds they get and win the combat if it ends up locking into it. But what is the Relentless ability from from Gross, the Heinrich Gross or Gross? Yes. I haven't played with him yet. That's why I barely know the dude, but one day we'll meet. Yes, Heinrich Gross. The supervillain of the Axis power. See, who needs Heinrich Gross when you have Little Peacock? Am I right? I was thinking about, for Little Peacock, we could just run him as Heinrich Gross or whatever. Like, who needs that model? I'm just going to have Little Peacock. You'll have to fight him soon. Oh, yeah, Rev's going to have him. Did you really? You ended up getting him? Oh, hell yeah. So that means we have pretty much all of the official hero models. Yeah, so little spoiler, Revs has a Japanese, Japanese army's his. He's got a British army. He has his Soviet army. And he's started a U.S. army. And he's also started an Axis army. So, just FYI. He's doing it all. He's doing it all. He's going to have every single... A lot of it's 3D printed, but he does have a lot of official models too, so... Alright. We got some more of these. Let's finish these. I can go grab another White Claw. Relentless allows units within 6 inches to do the order that was already issued to them again. Gotcha. So 2 activations limited by what they were already ordered. Yeah. So it's kind of like using Guts to go again, but you don't need to pull a dice. Is that right? The Mallet Walker is called Armored Soviet Walker on Cult 3D. I had someone just ask that question today on the new battle report. Yeah, the maker's called the Grey Hunter or something. But if you just type that in, you'll see it. You should at least. I love that we could 3D print all sorts of units, but in the future, eventually, when the time's right, I would like to get the official miniatures. I do love I think Warlord makes fantastic miniatures. And they're fun to, like, actually, like, work on. Like, after building so many, like, Space Marines and crap over the years, these are just so much nicer to work on. When the time's right, we'll upgrade, get a bunch of more Warlord miniatures. But for now, we're doing a lot of 3D printing just so we can keep trying new units and doing new stuff and keeping things fun for the channel. Plus, we're just having fun playing Konflikt. We want to try all sorts of units and stuff out, so... It's early on in the game, so it'll be nice. Once I kind of figure out what I like, I can be like, alright, you know what? I'll buy these couple walkers because I use these all the time. And we'll get the real ones. Because while the 3D printed ones look great, obviously the real ones are always going to be better. But once the plastic comes out, yeah. That's the thing. A lot of these have old minis, or they don't even have current minis and stuff like that out. So it is nice to try some different units that you don't necessarily want to buy at the moment until the new minis come out. Well, hopefully it's good advertising for Warlord, so. Somebody's like, man, I gotta get me 20 Ursus infantry bears when they see Rev. I want all Drugovs, 10 Drugovs. God. It paints up so easily. Oh, it's so nice. I love it. It's so nice. I haven't done some painting in it for a bit either, and then we did some painting the other day. It was like, oh, so nice. Yeah, I was painting the my Fireflies the other night, and Slammer Samuels, and doing some touch-up and stuff, because most of my stuff I've gotten, like, table ready, meaning that they've just been basic colors, and then I was like, all right, let's film. Because I've been so busy. If you don't know, I have another YouTube channel, Mike, Li Flies Mike, and that's like my main YouTube that I spend most of my time working on, making fly tying and fly fishing videos. So, but so I just don't have a ton of time nowadays between 2 YouTube channels making multiple videos. You know, at least one video every week on this one, and then I try to at least, and multiple on the other one, and then having my own fly tying business. I've just been like not a lot of time to paint. So I'm trying to put more effort into painting because nobody was complimenting my minis, but everyone was complimenting Revs in the battle reports. So we got to start spending more time painting, apparently. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Why does Sonic music sound so good? Are you talking about Sonic the Hedgehog, OTS? The original soundtrack? Are you talking about, like, Sonic? Is this, like, a type of genre I don't know of or something? I do like the Sonic OTS. Should we listen to the Sonic OTS? We're listening to Diablo's Tristram. It was Sega, right? Sega's not going to copyright me like Nintendo would.
Rocky, welcome.
We'll find out. I love me some Sonic music, though. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. So my first ever console was a Sega Genesis, and I remember we were in California visiting my grandfather, and it snowed in Northern California, and a Winter Olympics were going on. I think it was like 1995 or something. I don't know. I forgot when it was. But I remember for Christmas they gave me a Sega Genesis. And it came with Sonic, Golden Axe, and maybe like 1 or 2 other games. But so, literally some of my first ever video game experiences were Sonic the Hedgehog and Sega Genesis. Wasn't a Nintendo boy, didn't have Mario or nothing like that. I did later get like the original Nintendo, not a Super Nintendo, but just a Nintendo with like the Duck Hunter Mario setup, you know what I'm talking about? That my older brother or half-brother had, that I got like hand-me-down. But my first like legit console was the Sega Genesis, brand new. That was, I'll never forget the box and everything, dude. Man, the 90s were sick. I do have nostalgia for the 90s. I can't help it. 90s like aesthetics and everything like that. I just miss it. It was a good time to be alive. And we were kids. I bet you it was even better if you were a little older. A good time to be alive. Now everything sucks. Everybody's pissed off all the time. I miss going to Toys R Us. Looking at all the N64 boxes and stuff, you know? God, the nostalgia is real with that. With those vibes. This is Sonic 2, but also a banner. Don't want it to be too loud, but all right. Let me know too. It's kind of hard. I'm using an actual like legit mixer, a Yamaha mixer. So it's kind of hard for me to monitor my audio levels versus your guys in the stream. So we used to do guitar streams and stuff where we'd play guitar live on Twitch and stuff. So I have like a Yamaha MG12 and I got like XLR microphone and all my guitar cables and stuff. So it's a little bit harder for me to tell if like the music's too loud or something at times. So you can always just yell at me and say, Mike, turn it down, you dumbass. You'd be like, just in the background, I don't want it to be too loud. In case you folks are doing something. But man. There's a banner of a soundtrack. All good? Alright, sounds good. Careful with those rose-tinted glasses. I know. Stuff sucks nowadays, though, man. Now, mind you, I was a kid, right? So, probably 90s were a little bit different, but... Like, going to Chuck E. Cheese's, bro? Come on. In the back of, like, an Astra van or something, or an old Chrysler van, like a van with the sliding doors that would break your fingers if you got them stuck in it. Those were the days. Those were the days. What we used to do is I'll never forget when Pokemon, like we used to go to Toys R Us to play Pokemon, the card game, and they would have like a tournament, they would call it. But all it was kids playing each other, and half the kids didn't even know what they were doing. And so what we would do is me and my friend figured out if you just told them you won at the cashier, they would give you a pack. So we would sit down, the two of us, we would act like we were playing a game of Pokemon. Then we would stand up, both go to different cashiers and say, yeah, and you would have to point at the person that played and be like, yeah, I beat him. And they're like, okay, cool. So we would walk out of there with like, and this was base set Pokemon, by the way, and like jungle boosters. We'd walk out of there with like 6 booster packs each. So this was like, that was the 90s for you, okay? The 90s were great. How dare you try to sully my rose-tinted glasses, okay? You can't get away with that sort of crap nowadays. Now there's middle-aged men reselling those Pokemon packs on whatnot for double the price, all right? The 90s were 100% objectively better. Now, just even thinking about that, you've convinced me. The 11:59 day were the days? Ah, okay, my bad. You're right. Mm-hmm. Throwing your chamber pot out or something? When was the Dark Ages? The Dark Ages were 13 to... No, were the Dark Ages 1500s? Was the 1100s Renaissance era? Still? Or was it pre-Renaissance? Or you got a whole different time date going on over there with your apostrophe, possibly. Yeah, Tabletop Command Post agrees with me. Domino's used to have that cheesy stuff crust. Ooh. Or not Domino's, Pizza Hut. We used to go to Pizza Hut. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say let's go to Pizza Hut once in like 15 years. Back in the day though, man, Pizza Hut was the jam. Good stuff. Renaissance was 15? Really? Renaissance was 15s? And wasn't the Dark Ages after the Renaissance era? So what, were Dark Ages 1600s? Okay, well there goes that. I thought I knew my history. Alright. I need another one of those. So we'll take a quick little break. And I know what we could do. Let's play the intro to the new Mike Rose Dice Battle Report while I'm gone. So you guys can check it out. That's what we can do. The 9 is a typo. The 1150s were the days. 90s did have the insider pizza at Pizza Hut. Agree on the 90s? I thank you. Dark Ages were after the various Roman empires fell. When did the Roman Empire fall? How about that? How about that question? I should know all this stuff. I wrote a song about freaking Hannibal and how he rode to the gates of Rome on the back of an elephant over the freaking, the Pyrenees Mountains or something? I've made a lot of random crap on the internet over the years, now that I think of it. What the hell were we doing? Oh, yeah, we're going to watch Mike Rolls Dice, the intro to the new video. Perfect. View my channel. Yes. Hey, new videos do pretty good. Almost 400 views. I'm just thinking about, like, my main channel, by the way, if you haven't... This is my main channel right here, Li Flies Mike. So we're almost at 4,400 subscribers, but I've been making videos for years. This is what I do for a living, is tie saltwater flies for companies and for fishing guides. But this is all since last year. We pretty much started making videos full time. And these are all fly tying tutorials and things about striper fishing for striped bass and all that. But that being said, like, I got 4,000 something subscribers here. This video came out today. You know, it's got like 300 and something views. Some do better, right? But the Mike Rolls Dice channel is already doing better than Li Flies Mike. For 700 subscribers, we end up getting more views on this channel than the other one. You know, so shout out to everyone that watches. You know, we're a small channel, but people like watching it, so I appreciate it. That being said, we'll check out the intro real quick. I'm just going to go hit the hookah lounge, i.e. go puff on some of that Riff Kush real quick. And I'm going to grab a drink, and when we get back, we're going to start handing some moss on some of the plants over here. And then, yeah, we'll get all this stuff looking good, because we got a battle report coming up between the U.S. and the Japanese. And we're going to go for some heavy jungle terrain. So that's kind of why we want to get this finished. You need to finish watching the report. It was great so far. Well, I appreciate it. For next battle report, more Paragons. I have plenty of Catachans. I could run Paragon spam. I have, what do I have? I think I have 9 Paragons total, 3D printed and pretty much painted. But what we'll do is when I get back, let's go over the list. I got the new list. We'll do the terrain, but I'll go over the list and you'll see we got Paragons, Fireflies, Paragons, Fireflies. We'll go over it, all the mechs and all that, but we can go over the list. We'll take a look. 500 to 1100 was the Dark Ages. Wait, so the Dark Ages was... Oh, yeah. Wait. Oh, yeah. No, wait. This is BC? No, this is AD. All right. Yep, numbers. That's how numbers work. Gotcha. Okay, cool. That makes sense. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll play the intro, or we'll play a little bit of the new battle report while I go grab a drink real quick. Yeah, 80. Yeah, okay. So that's kind of but the Renaissance. Okay, yeah. So the Renaissance was the 1500s. The Dark Ages were like after the collapse of the Roman Empire, right? Or no, was the Renaissance after? I don't know. We'll go over it. That's fine. Yeah, I used to like history. I used to enjoy. I used to know my history. All right, we'll be back in a moment, chat. 1947, Eastern Europe. In the outskirts of an abandoned, ruined town, the Soviets find the Green Hand and Axis forces led by Colonel von Liechtenstein as they look to make their way deeper into Soviet territory to strike behind enemy lines. Will the Soviet forces be able to slow down and hold back Colonel von Liechtenstein and the Green Hand? Or will the Colonel and his new Schreckwolfen come out on top in this week's battle report of Konflikt 47? Hey, how's it going? Mike from Mike Rolls Dice. Welcome back for another battle report of Konflikt 47. Today we have the Soviets fighting off in this abandoned outskirts of this village or town versus my Green Hand forces. Now, before we go over all the army lists and the mission rules, I wanted to say a shout out real quick to our YouTube members, Tiki the Hut, Rev, and Gabriel. Thank you so much, and to everyone that watches the videos here, we couldn't do it without you. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into the army list, starting off with the Green Hand. First up, we have 1,500 points of my Green Hand forces, and we have some new additions to the table here. But as always, we have the platoon commander, the stall troop and officer who's going to be leading the army, and this is Colonel von Liechtenstein. And he's going to have a backup platoon commander, a regular platoon commander with just a point of guts. And next up we have 3 stall trooping squads, starting off with the squad in the front, which is equipped with 2 STG assault rifles as well as a LMG. Then we have 2 stall trooping squads in the back there that both have 1 STG, 1 LMG, and 1 anti-tank rifle upgrade.
Stall trooping squad Alpha, ready for combat.
For one of the new additions to the army here, we have a Schreckwofen squad here. This is just a base Schreckwofen squad with 3 models, and they have their Howl at the Moon ability. Then we have some heavy weapon teams. We have a sniper team, and these are all regular, by the way. We have a Panzerschreck team, which has their 24-inch range Panzerschreck. And we have a regular flamethrower team as well. For the vehicle platoon, we have the classic Vogelspinne that we always use. It's equipped with a hull-mounted MMG and the Maschengewehr cannon. Then we have the new Puma heavy armored car, and it only comes with a Schwerfield cannon, but it is quite quick and damage value 8. And then last but not least, we have the new Panzer mech with 6 legs. This is essentially a
Whoa,
Panzer
Squig
IV
Herder Sean
with a Schwerfield
coming
cannon
on in with the
instead of
5
truck.
gifted
It's a
memberships.
6 legs.
Round of applause
Nice cannon.
going out. Put your George emotes in the chat. Thank you so much. That is very, very kind of you. We got some more memberships to add to the list of members. We're getting to the point to where I probably can't read them all. Maybe I'll pick one random member and say their name or something. But I'll always what do you call it? I will always have a list of the members on each battle report as a thank you. So, but thank you, my friend. Again, a round of applause. Enjoy the early access to battle reports. We try to upload them a couple days at least before they come out. We're going to be filming here soon. And you get emotes as well. So you got your emotes you can use. But thank you again. Very, 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 very kind of you. We got a fresh black cherry cracked open. And yeah, we can work. I do want to go over the list real quick. Gonna crack open my palette and paint a lawn? Hell yeah. We are gonna go over, I'll tell you guys real quick. I have on my phone. I don't have the Warlord app. I just write my list down on my phone. But let's see. This is what I was thinking. Hold on. Maybe I'll just show you guys. As long as there's no sensitive information, I could show you. I'll just show you my phone. It's easier, probably. We got our fancy camera set up. So, let me see here. So we got a Firefly platoon commander with an ATRD. We are going to be using Slammer Samuels. We said we're not going to use heroes if the other team doesn't have heroes, but Rev said use them. So that is a lot of points, by the way, 158 for Slammers, but you know. We have 2 Firefly squads, 6-mans, and there's a flamethrower upgrade in each. So I have 2 6-man Firefly squads. This time I'm going to use them right. I'm going to jump them in behind
like battle frame, whatever. I don't know what he's going to have, but I'm sure he's going to have battle frame infantry and assault infantry. And then a point blank range with Tesla SMGs and flamethrowers is the idea. Then we got 2 Paragon units. Now I was going to add like engineer and all this and like ATRDs and stuff, but I ended up adding a sniper team. But before this, I had engineers, ATRDs, and fanatics on all of them. I was going to try that out, but just 2 units of Paragons with 1 heavy Tesla, just because I only have 1 painted as a heavy Tesla, or like the blue on the end of a gun. And they all have close combat. So there's 2 Paragon units for the guts. Then we got a bazooka team and a sniper team. The idea is I like mixing it up too. I don't just want to use like just Paragons, just Fireflies every game. So I'm like trying out a sniper team, bazooka team, right? Some other stuff. And then we got 2 Jackals with flamethrower upgrades, which are also going to be jumping onto the board. So the whole idea is if you read the Fireflies, they talk about how the Jackals were developed in the lore, like the little lore blurb. Jackals were developed to be used in conjunction with Fireflies is the whole idea. So, and then there's a Kodiak with the autocannons and MMGs. Dude, that list is gonna wipe the Japanese off the wipe the floor with the Japanese. No. See, you're thinking of a average, possibly Japanese player or something. You're not thinking about Rev, who is, like Heinrich Gross in real life. He's like a master tactician. So, that being said, yeah, I tried to make it to where it wasn't like linebackers and Tesla cannons and all that, and not everything too meta. But it is, I think, a decent list. So, we'll see. What about Golden Axe? Golden Axe OST. I mean, if we're gonna get copy striked, it's gonna be for Sonic, so we might as well listen to Golden Axe OST. Was it Golden Axe 2? We'll listen to the original one. This is another banger. Coyotes and Jackals always surprise me every game. They carry so much weight. I haven't used them, so I'm excited. They on paper they look like they're just gonna die. Damage value, and they didn't look that impressive, but I'm not using the jump. I think the jump is like the huge thing. Be firing that Kodiak twice a turn with a Paragon squad nearby. I'll try not to. We'll see. See, here's the thing. We don't want to play the games in a way to where it's like, oh, well, we want the Japanese to do good. No. I'm trying to beat Rev every time. But we still want it to be like a fair and balanced game. But that being said, yeah, we'll see, I guess. But, like I said, Rev knows his stuff. He's going to be deep striking or whatever with the ghosts. He's got his own units, He's got his own guts. And he's just a better player than me in general. So even though I'm playing a better list or army, he has the advantage of him playing 3D chess. The juice with the coyote and the jackal is Mech Assault. The juice. What? You probably meant something else, but. Or maybe you meant the juice. Yeah, so I'm gonna jump in the jackals with the fireflies. So the Kodiaks and the Paragons will be on the board. I'll probably forward infiltrate the 2 Paragons. The sniper will be infiltrated. The bazooka team will try and cause some. The bazooka team is really for like the potentially any vehicles, or also for the just in general. It's a good thing to have some like good shooting for power armor dudes. Essentially. Oh, dude, this is the song. I remember trying to knock the guys off the dinosaurs in Golden Axe. The sauce. Okay. Well, look, you know what? I'm kind of excited if they do buff the Japanese. Because I think with their Shiburu cannons, they are quite deadly. Most of our games, Rev's gotten like very unlucky with a lot of his rolls and stuff. That's the excuse I've been making when all the Japanese players were like, please tell me they're not terrible. But I think that is somewhat true. But I think if they just maybe change one or two things, Japanese could be like, could be up there. So I guess we'll see what they do. It's tough, right? Trying to balance a game like this is probably so tough. Like, I don't know how they're going to do it, but... Because you don't want to end up going down this road of, like, slowly buffing everything too much. I don't think they need to, though. I think they just probably need to make some slight adjustments here and there if they really want to, but... It's still early on, too. We'll see. But I think they're probably getting enough test data nowadays. Yes, I think they are definitely the sort of army. Like, what's a good comparison to potentially, like, some other games? Like, I think you definitely... It's not, like, an easy-to-play army, right? I think if you're, like, a player like me, who isn't as tactically sound as someone like Rev or something, like, it's much easier. Like, I used to play Blood Angels in 40K. It took me a while. You would think charging every turn just sounds easy, but, like, learning how to stage... Like, learning how to play a melee army in 40K properly takes some time. It took me a while. But once I figured it out, then it went from him beating me with a guard every game to me, like, wiping the guard off the board. But it definitely is the sort of army. It's like that. It's like playing a melee army in 40K that takes a lot of, like... it's really about, like, positioning and utilizing your... what do you call it? Your units in the best way possible, like minimizing the attrition loss, right? For sure. But a lot of times those armies are the ones in games where like a small, like Thousand Suns in 40K, like, generally, overall, their win rate or something in tournaments maybe isn't the best, but there's, like, a handful of players that consistently win tournaments, so they might end up being, like, that sort of faction where it takes a little while for people to crack the Japanese sort of, I actually heard Morty and his brother talking about this in the last battle report. They're like, we figured out all the other factions, but we haven't cracked the Japanese. I think that's a good way of describing it. Me and Rev, we've kind of gotten a good grasp on the Soviets, the Americans, and kind of the Japanese, but we still, I'd say those two are our strongest. I think we're still kind of like figuring out the British Commonwealth. And some of the other stuff. I'm just laying this stuff randomly and kind of like wrapping it around. Just kind of have some like hanging leaves and vines, you know? Nuance and efficiency, that's a good way to describe it, yep. I don't want to disparage people though, that's why I've been, you know, I do think they're a good army. So I feel bad because people are like, essentially like alluding to in the comments of some of the videos, like, man, it like feels bad when the Japanese lose, but I think we're still in the early stages of the game, right? Like, we have a lot of stuff to figure out. I was struggling with my list when I realized Shiburu squads are basic infantry and don't count towards the mandatory units. Well, I cheated in this battle report that just came out today. I took a flamethrower without an engineer squad, so... That was a oopsie on my side. If you watch the video, though, you'll find out they didn't end up doing anything, so it didn't hurt anything. Actually ended up being perfect that I cheated, because we found out that Spoiler, I put the flamethrowers near the Moraz Ghoul, and it turns out Moraz Ghoul are completely immune to any and all flamethrower and flame weapons. So yeah, it ended up working out okay, but the realization I had after turn 2 or 3 when Rev's like, oh yeah, those guys are immune to flames, by the way. We forgot. And I'm like, you've ruined me. So it was a good thing I didn't actually cheat with the flamethrower squad and then kill a bunch of units. And somebody was like, you can't even have that. I keep forgetting there's like platoon structures. Oh yeah. You haven't watched Mike Rolls Dice enough. I'm cheating every game. I got weighted dice. I have magnets under the table to slowly like move Rev's miniatures away from me so he fails his charge. I got it all rigged. I told Rev, you better watch out. I could just start editing all the videos so that I win every game. And I'll just tell people, like, yep, so I scored here and I killed this unit. And this and that. Like, nobody knows. I could just edit it to where I'm always right. I'm about to fight Cyberstan. Yep. That's a sort of... No, I think that was... There's a music in Golden Axe where you're sleeping, you're like resting by the fire, and then this little goblin comes out, treasure goblin, and you have to smack him so you can get treasure. That might have been one of those, it's like the in-between stages in Golden Axe. So good, though. I don't know what may guide you on your fight against Cyberstan. I do not know of the Cyberstan you speak of. I like when you said I failed my insult, but I actually chose to run instead. Yeah, look, do you expect me to remember everything? All right? Sometimes I like to twist the narrative. Now, I actually probably just thought you failed your assault. Is that not what happened? I thought you failed the assault. You thought it was 16 and you didn't. So you ended up moving slightly and you still... No, yeah, you failed the charge with the Ursus infantry and the Schreckwolfen, and then you ended up moving off to the side. Isn't that what happened? Do I have to go back in the video footage and look? If not, it made it more interesting, so I am manipulating the battle reports just unconsciously. Maybe I didn't actually check the video, but I edited that like the day after we started playing it, so I was like, oh yeah, I remembered everything that happened. Are you telling me I manipulated the footage? Everybody's cheating. When are you gonna learn, Bad Rabbit? This world isn't what you think it is. Everybody's stepping on somebody else to get up, to get higher up or something like that. The world's a lie. Everything I know is a lie. That is the downside of not just filming a battle report like Tabletop Command Post does or Mordian, where you guys can hear everything. I have to, like, make sure I'm accurately portraying what's happening on the screen. Because sometimes people are like, what do you mean? How did you do this? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry. They actually just had SMGs. I don't know why I said assault rifles. Honestly, I'm surprised I don't make more mistakes in my battle report editing. So we're pretty much just, if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm just draping some of this stuff randomly over it. The more texture, the more different colors and materials we can add, the more realistic it's going to look like. So
I get accused of cheating all the time. I know, it's so silly. And it's not easy to do all the filming and stuff, play the game, remember the rules. I know. It's very easy to make mistakes when you're... I do it all the time. And, like, we go back. There have been times where we film games and stuff, and I've made such a big mistake that I'm like, oh my god, dude. Are you kidding me? That I'm like, oh my god, it might just ruin the entire game, you know? But it's so easy to, while you're trying to film, you're thinking about the camera angle, you're thinking about this, the battery, you're trying not to shake the camera, you know? And meanwhile, you're trying to remember, like, a brand new game's rules. It's like, oh my god. It's so easy to make mistakes. I mean, even more to everybody, you know? It's like, everybody's doing stuff wrong, you know? It takes a little while to learn this stuff. So, I'm going to be making mistakes in my battle reports, probably, for the next, like... till 3rd edition of Konflikt comes out. I'll get it eventually, but... Thank God Rev is here, because Rev has a much greater understanding of how rules work than I do. So... Omnissiah Sphinx, what's going on? How's it going? I'm thinking of getting into bolt action or 47, coming from a 40k orc player. Ooh. So you like going... Wah! And charging? Yeah, I like that too. I have an orc army. Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to have fun. What I think... so what are the pros of bolt action and Konflikt versus 40k, chat? Let's go over it. And there could be cons too, but I'll say what I like. The reason why I like playing bolt action and Konflikt over 40k is the order activation with the dice is a great change up from 40k. Instead of spending, you know, you're going to watch some guard player, Rev, spend like 35 minutes moving 700 guardsmen across the table. Instead, it's going to be like you go, maybe I go, whatever it is, you pull your dice out. That's one huge positive that I really like. Now, if you're an orc player, though, you're going to like melee primarily. Unless you're going for the Daka detachment, right? So, there is good melee. It is not like 40k melee, though. It is different. Essentially, like, with the combat... If somebody wins a round of combat, they just kill everything, and they end up winning. So that is slightly different. But I think the bolt action is different enough in K47 that it's worth trying. It's much more... I wouldn't say it's as competitive as 40k. 40k, I think, inherently, just the way the game is designed, it ends up becoming very competitive, even just between two friends playing. It's very easy with the army unit list and stuff. And whenever I play orcs in 40k, I'm just all about, like, picturing them throwing squigs off. You know what I mean? So, like, bolt action is a very sort of game or Konflikt where you kind of come up with your own narrative. And it's very, like, it's very easy to be story-driven just by coming up with stuff on the table. So I think that's another benefit of Konflikt and bolt action. Is it has good game mechanics and all that, but it's also about, like, it's more about, like, putting minis on the table and having fun, I think. And picturing either your U.S. Airborne dropping on D-Day on Normandy, and he's like, Sergeant, go, go, go! They're like, laying down fire. Or it's like, you know, in Konflikt where it's like these American Firefly troops dropping in on, you know, genetically modified Nazi zombies, essentially, right? Even though Nazis aren't around anymore. So, I think it's 100% worth trying out and getting into. And I'll tell you the biggest benefit, it's substantially cheaper. Like, when I talk about substantially cheaper, now, mind you, I have a full Blood Angels Warhammer army that I did stupidly buy GW minis in case I wanted to go to a tournament with Rev. All of my other 40k stuff is 3D printed. I have like 8 armies that are all I 3D printed. So when it comes to Warlord, you could spend $100 and buy an entire bolt action army. You can go on Amazon when it's on sale. You can get an entire bolt action army for $120. So Konflikt is pretty cheap as well. It's a little bit more expensive than bolt action,
but you also don't need a lot of units. You're not going to have like, 100 what do you call it, boys on the table. You're going to have like far less units, which I personally kind of like because I have a bad back. So after 5 hours of moving a bunch of like orc boys on the table, my back would always be killing me, right? Or all my space marines. So these games generally tend to go a little quicker, and it's generally a little bit easier if you're an old man like me. But I do love 40K. They're two completely different games. So it's definitely worth checking out. Bolt Action or Konflikt. Oh, it's all about the DACA? Then you got to play US. You got to play the US in Konflikt, I think. Or Bolt Action is really a shooty game, I would say. There is melee, but Bolt Action is more shooting. So you're gonna have fun with it. Yeah, it's a nice break too. You can play both, right? You can easily, like Mordian describes it, Bolt Action and is like a great when you want to take a break from 40K and all the seriousness, and like you really got to think. You have like, I'm gonna use this amount of command points or whatever, right? And you got these cards. I'm gonna flip this card back. This, that. These games are much simpler. Bolt Action and Konflikt. Not that there isn't nuance and depth, but it's not like you need the codex, you need this, then you're going to be pulling data. You got cards every turn. It's a much, you can, it's a little bit simpler when it comes to the to playing it. The guys I play one-page rules with want another game, and I'm pushing K47. Toss up between that and Blackout. What's Blackout? Is that a more modern like military game? I feel like I've heard of it. I got out of 40K in 6th edition, found we were spending more time in the rulebook than playing the game. Yeah. I mean, you'll need to learn the new rules for Konflikt and Bolt Action, but yeah, like you won't be looking up unit abilities. Like here's the thing, me and Rev filmed a game of 40K not too long ago for the channel, which like nobody watched. But Rev has gone to tournaments. He's traveled to Atlantic City for the Warhammer tournament. He's done all of this. He still forgets half of his abilities for his Catachans and his this and that and his this, because each unit has like 6 abilities. You know what I mean? So that is something that like can kind of get tiresome in 40K, is like constantly having to check data cards and pull out your phone and look. Am I getting reroll? Oh yeah, I forgot. I actually get rerolls to 1 and rerolls to hit and rerolls for everything. So it's like you end up just spending more time like worrying about that stuff. That being said, I love 40K, but we are obsessed with Bolt Action and Konflikt now. It kind of took over everything. More sci-fi for Blackout, smaller unit counts. Gotcha. I love me a good skirmish style game. So this is another thing that's nice. I love like Trench Crusade, one-page rules, smaller style games, but Rev is more into like the larger style games. This is a good mix. Like you can have an army in a shoebox and you come over with and you still have like 15, 30 models maybe if you want, but you don't need like, I have a full carry case for my Blood Angels army, right? Because there's like so many miniatures and stuff. It is nice. It's like a mix between a skirmish game and the amount of minis and like one-page rules, Grimdark Future Firefight, and their large scale, for instance. Yeah, we got started with one-page rules. I actually had someone request a one-page rules game. They're like, please tell me you're filming a one-page rules game soon. So I have a friend who plays... he doesn't play Warhammer, even though he collects a huge Dark Angels army. And he doesn't seem interested in Konflikt, but he loves playing one-page rules because he can come for an hour with some of his random Warhammer minis, and he can play a game, and he doesn't know jack shit about wargaming, and he's beat me like every other time he comes and plays. So he loves it. So we'll probably film another one-page rules game here soon. That's kind of the game that got us... we were Magic the Gathering players, me and Rev. And then we were playing D&D and stuff as well. And we kind of were like, I was like, yo, let's try this wargaming stuff with one-page rules. And that's kind of led us down this path. You can actually go back. Some of my earliest videos are one-page rules back when we first started getting into it. They were shit videos, but If it wasn't for one-page rules, we wouldn't be doing this right now. Like, of course, we wanted to get into Warhammer, but we were like, dude, why do we got to spend $1,000? Like, what? Your local store just had a blackout tournament, but nobody showed. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't even really heard of it. I've seen the name because I try to stay up to date in random, like, wargaming stuff. But I'm trying to think of, like, when it comes to what war games people actually play. Now, Rev has gone to the local... When I say local, it's like 50 minutes away from where we are on Long Island. I was going there to, like, play Yu-Gi-Oh! And stuff. But he was going there to play Warhammer. I think there were some folks playing other games, but it didn't really seem like there's, like, a huge diversity in games. Like, I don't even know if we could find people playing Bolt Action, playing pickup locally, but... That's why I really want Konflikt to do well and succeed, because it's like D&D with Wizards of the Coast. Savage Worlds is a fantastic system that I run. All of our friends know how to DM D&D, and I'm like, why don't we play something else? Like, there's so many other good games out there, right? Shadow Dark, just so many other good game systems that you could try and play other than D&D. So it's nice having competition. Like, you need other war games other than 40K. So right now, it honestly seems like Konflikt is the strongest, like, competitor, along with Bolt Action, that's gaining traction. Because there's other games, but like Trench Crusade was doing really good. We're not going to talk about them anymore, I guess. They kind of screwed the pooch. Because really, there's really no other games that have been making waves. But it seems like a lot of people are hyped around Konflikt. I don't think it's not 40K, obviously, but you know, they're doing good. So I really want them to succeed. So we're doing our part. We're trying to make some good videos. OPR is by far our current favorite. We get like 4 or 5 firefight games on a Saturday. I mean, that's the great thing about it, right? Is that you can get so many games in a day. Would I go for Finnish or British? Were you talking about for Bolt Action? I mean, it's up to you, right? I'd say in Bolt Action, you can kind of pick any army. I know, like, if you're trying to be competitive, I know the Germans are, like, really good. But what do you call it? I think with Bolt Action, you could probably pick any army and have a good time and play. And probably the same thing with Konflikt. But Konflikt, I think there's more of a difference in play styles between Konflikt factions than there is Bolt Action. So when it comes to Bolt Action, pick whatever you historically like and whatever vehicles you want to drive around in and stuff. Do you want Shermans for Americans? Do you want Bren carriers for the Brits? You know, and what's the name of their British tank that they had that they loved? Or do you want, you know, the Finns and what? The Finns were allies with the Axis, right? So you're going to be having whatever access to the stuff they have. Because the Finns were fighting the Soviets, if I'm not wrong, in World War II. Isn't the, what's his name? The White Death, the Finnish sniper? That was Finland, right? Yeah, I believe so. They were fighting the Soviets, like 1939. The Winter War, I believe it was. Hey, Tabletop Command Post, thanks for stopping by. Chat, if you're not subscribed to Tabletop Command Post, by the way, speaking of Bolt Action Konflikt, be certain to be subscribed to his channel, alright? We literally would not be making Konflikt videos if it wasn't for channels like his, my Ministry of Miniatures, which I'm probably not saying his name right because I forgot how it goes, and people like Morty and Glory, because you guys helped us get into Bolt Action pre-Konflikt, so appreciate it. Yeah, great videos over there. But thanks for stopping by. Have a nice night, man. Appreciate it. I'll keep an eye out for new battle reports. I still gotta finish the Japanese versus I think it was the Americans. Alright, we're almost done with this random jungle hanging moss. Hell yeah. Looking good.
and we literally didn't even dent it. This bag is awesome. It's just jam-packed with moss. I think we'll never run out. Ever. So that'd be nice. So what I'll do is with all this, I have one last one to do, but this right here is PVA glue, like regular Elmer's glue, and water mixed together. And I'll take it outside and I'll just quickly spritz it, like not get it too wet, and lay it on a flat surface. It'll dry, and then a lot of this stuff should just kind of get somewhat stuck to it. And more importantly, all of the rocks and the moss that we glued to the bases and all of the sand that I sprinkled on the paint will get permanently adhere to the drain. I don't know. Was this Amazon, Rev? This bag? All of this stuff that I usually get? The trees are from the dollar store, or any of the plant stuff. The rocks are from the dollar store. The moss is from Michael's or Hobby Lobby for train building. This is from Amazon, so if you want to see what the name of the moss is, look it up on Amazon. But the trees that we use, there's 3D printed trees, the green kind of roundish ones. Then there's Warhammer trees from, I don't know if it's Age of Sigmar or what, but they're like Warhammer trees that our buddy bought and that we're just using. He's letting us use them. And then there's trees that I made out of some sort of Halloween or like witch thing. It was like some sort of branches, and I took the branches and I glued cotton to it, and then I sprinkled like herbs and leaves and random crap to it, and then airbrushed it. These though are dollar store aquatic like fake plants. So at our local dollar store they sell these fake plants. Just buy like 5-6 different kinds. Some of them don't work scale wise, but some of them do kind of scale up to like some sort of exotic jungle bush. Let's actually get a close-up. Let's see how they look now. I'm happy I airbrushed them because they were just brown before, and the brown would not have looked good. So it's like with the airbrushing of the green, it almost kind of looks like moss and stuff. You know what I mean? So the idea is, for instance, what we've been doing a lot is we'll have like something like this be a forest, and then it be empty in the middle, something like that. But what we could do is we could make like a giant, we could have like a huge area in the board be like a jungle area where there's like paths going through it. You know what I mean? Because I saw Tabletop Command Post, he had some sick areas where it's like, oh, dude, that looks sick. Because the last board I did, Rev's been doing the boards a lot, and he has a certain way of doing it, and it looks good, but it's very open. I'd say it's like your classic bolt action. You see in a lot of bolt action, like competitive game, and just in games where they like have very open boards. I think it's also, I read something that's like, it's like a difference between like how they play bolt action games competitively in the US versus Australia and the UK, the competitive scenes. Sometimes they'll have more open bolt action boards versus more condensed and like line of sight blocking boards. It seems like it's different between each regional competitive scene. But so we've done more like open boards, but I kind of want to do more kind of like the board is almost like filled. There's obviously still, we're trying to keep certain things and this and that, but I kind of want a more like immersive board every once in a while to do. So that requires having literally like a ton of pieces for something like, if you just make 6 of these, then yeah, you're going to end up doing like a little circle where this is a little forest and that's a little jungle thing. You can do stuff like that, right? And then you can still do that. But to really get like a whole let's say we want an area on either side that's like heavily forested,
that maybe tanks can't go through, and it's like, you know, something like that. So I had to build a good amount of them. So I think we got good. I don't know how many there are, but there's like a pretty decent amount of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I got 26 of them. That's not bad. So I probably would need twice as much for a real jungle board. But I forgot there's another fantastic channel, Cinematic something. Let me look them up. There's only a handful of people that make Konflikt videos, so I should know all of them by now. Subscribers, Cinematic Tabletop is their name. And they've done some fantastic videos. They do highly edited, like, it's almost like watching like a little movie sort of Konflikt game or bolt action game. And, which I kind of got inspired from them, and then people like Tabletop Command Post to kind of do an in-between to where it's like almost like a 40K in 40 minutes by playing tabletop, where it's like a condensed version of a Konflikt game. You know, that's kind of like my inspiration. And there's, I think, Miniature War Games or something Studios, I think, is another guy. He does like Trench Crusade and some bolt action and like Old World and Mordheim. I kind of like somewhat was inspired by him and how he like kind of edits the videos together as well. But that Cinematic Tabletop dude, the whole reason I brought it up, I don't know why I just went on a tangent. He's done some jungle videos, and I love somebody commented he had so much of this stuff on the board, and they're like, yes, this is what a jungle actually looks like. You know, so for that sort of narrative game, if you're gonna do jungle, you're gonna do a jungle, dude. Like, a jungle is not something that's like, you know, you're gonna see, it's like super dense and dark, and you know, that's what adds to the whole jungle vibe. You know, it's like the lights blocked out down near the floor and everything, the forest floor. So, all right, cool. We got some nice jungle terrain. Hell yeah. I'll spray these up with, what do you call it? I'll spray these with that PVA glue mixture at some point. We'll just put all these away. I'll go do that tomorrow downstairs. What I can do is real quick, I can show you guys some of the, we finished up the mechs. The American mechs, and I did some extra work to the Fireflies. So before we end the stream here, because I'll probably go eat some food here soon, and I have to finish some flies. I have to glue 7 dozen heads on these flies, saltwater flies, little deceivers. So I'm just gonna glue these up tonight. But before that, I'll show you some. We finished up those mechs we painted on stream the other night, so I'll show you what they look like. I put some decals on there. I did some detail painting. Nothing crazy, but just a little bit here and there. But yeah, these came out pretty nice. Watch Detachment X. It's so fun. I think I've seen that one. I haven't seen all of his stuff. I have to catch up. Because we just got into Konflikt and bolt action, I'd say around August or something like that. Rev's been watching Mordian's channel for a while, so he's been wanting to play bolt action, and we were like, okay, we'll try it out. And then with Konflikt coming out, we were like, you know what? Let's get into bolt action. Let's learn it. Because we look like we want to get into Konflikt, so this will give us a good excuse to kind of learn. And so it's only been, you know, however many months. I still haven't, you know, I've watched a lot of battle reports and a lot of stuff from most of the channels, but still got a lot of catching up to do. And let's put this stuff. We'll just clean up real quick, chat. You got the wrong logo in the corner? Yeah, that's just up for my stream on, what do you call it? On Twitch. It's also here. I forgot to turn it off, but also, who cares? It kind of looks cool. Check out Ally Fly's mic, alright? On YouTube. If you like fishing in saltwater. What I need to do, you're saying, I don't have the Ron logo in the corner. I need to add another logo on the left corner. Yeah, you're right. Double logo.
Alright. I was going to try and get all this stuff separated. I'm just dumping in the bag. This is going to drive Rev crazy, too. He wants it all, like, separate. Nope. This is my rocks. My moss, my rocks. I'm mixing them. Get wrecked. Get wrecked. He's always like, we got to pick it out. We got to keep it nice and clean. Ah, whatever. I'm lazy. Just mix it together. Just mix it together. It's fine. The moss and the rocks, they go together nice. Okay. Hopefully the Rev doesn't mind the moss being put to good use. All right, let me grab the minis real quick. But the snowboards. There's grass in the snow. It's not always fresh snow. We can have a little bit of grass in the snow. It's fine. It's fine. You like my carry case for my American Army, by the way? My unit, infantry unit. I just shove them in a box. All right, let's take a look. So we painted these up on stream the other day. I did some extra work. I went back and touched some stuff up. Some areas where I went a little overboard with dry brushing. But we painted the some metallic areas and whatnot that we needed to. I touched up some of the area around the lights. But the main thing I did is we added some decals. We got our U.S. Army decal on there. And then I added some shoulder pads. I actually need to take this. Like, I want to do a test. This one, there's like a cut. I kind of want to like damage the decal a little bit where the, there we go. Because there's this scar running along the edge. Yeah, like that. Perfect. So I gotta, what I need to do is I need to take a sponge and apply a little bit of rusting and weathering to the decals. Because the decal looks so clean. By the way, it's like, it's so tough to get these things perfectly straight. You can see it's like ever so slightly crooked. I suck at doing these. So I always just picture back at the mechanic shop in Konflikt, the mechanics are drinking beer and it's Friday night and that's why it's not crooked. All right? If something's ever not right, it was done on a Friday before they were signing off for their shift. Okay? That's what I always blame it on. But yeah, so we added some decals, and these look sick. They're ready to jump in with flamethrowers and absolutely demolish some Japanese troops, I hope. And then for the Kodiak, now looking at the Kodiak, there's like barely, it's really like a basic model. Like if you look at the Warlord, they don't do any decaling on it whatsoever. Like literally none. I do want to add some more weathering, but I kind of didn't want to go overboard. I think it does look good. And we did the bullets and stuff like that on stream. But all I did here is just add like some lettering to the sides here, like U.S. Army and just some random lettering. The U.S. got folded on itself, so I want to add some like battle damage, maybe like a shot right there or something. But I just kept it simple, just so it adds like a little bit when you're looking at it. You know, you see like a side shot here, like that. You know. Just adds a little something. But I kept it simple. Now, for the good shit. I went back and I added decals for the shoulder pads. So we got Slammer Samuels right there. Maybe a slogan. Yeah, I was thinking I could like paint a slogan on there. But I didn't want to do too much on that one. And I even got a tiny, they have these tiny little stars. I put it on his helmet. So it was hard to get that. I tried to get that one to where it's like cut in half. I don't know, but whatever. You can't even see that one. But I did it on all the Fireflies. So I went ahead and put all the stars on the Fireflies. I still got to go back. I think what I want to do is add a wash to all of the clothing. Because I just airbrushed the clothing, but it didn't really come out that good, I think.
So I want to add a wash, and then I want to go back and highlight all of the ridges on the clothing. But I added like metallics is what I did to these guys, and I also redid a lot of their skin tone because their skin tone was like not good at all. Because I used speed paint before and it just didn't look that good. And then what I did is I also added some decals to some of the Paragon 3D prints. But again, that tiny little star, I put a star on each of their do-rags and their like little bandanas and their hats. Because I was figuring what could I put on these guys, and I figured a nice little U.S. Army star. They're the Paragons. They're like special boys, so they get a cool star on their hat. I was like, do I just do it on sergeants or whatever? But I was like, nah, that's all right. Maybe on a sergeant I could do 2 if I wanted, but it's fine. Doesn't matter. I'm not worrying about it too much. And then, last but not least, this guy I painted up. Which I still needed to, like, do his eyes and, like, do all his face and everything. But this is the, you get with the starter kit, the Firefly platoon commander. So I finally got around to painting him up. I think it came out pretty good. Nothing crazy. May not be Rev quality. But it's not bad. Somebody's freaking ATRD just fell off too. I'm gonna have to reglue that back on. It's this guy right here. Yeah, so we touched him up. We got him ready for the next battle report. We got Paragon, 2 units of Paragons, 2 units of Fireflies with flamethrowers. The Firefly platoon commander. We got Slammer Samuels. We have bazooka team, sniper team, 2 jackals, and a Kodiak. 1,500 points. Exactly 1,500 points on the mark as well. Right on the money. And yeah, that's the list. We'll see how she does. There you go. Just put that back on there. Don't drop your ATRD, soldier. Need Wells? Right here. I haven't painted her yet. I have to get around to it. That's going to be next. Just airbrushed. So, I'm going to have to do this one next. Because we're not going to give it away. But let's just say Roberta Wells may be showing up in her first game, and she may be... Rev may be using her, so we'll see. She will be cool to use, though. I'm excited. It's going to be fun. It's just nice to have some different units, too. I'm excited. You know, hey, Warlord, you know what? Just keep making more units. Just give somebody some coffee, lock them in a room, and just have them just keep making units. More conflict. We want more. More conflict, damn it! We want more! No, we want more conflict like this. Yay! Woohoo! We got more conflict coming. Luckily, it you know, what do you call it? Gives me time to paint before we got to start worrying about new units coming out. But yeah, they came out pretty good. I'm happy with them. We'll see. We're trying out a couple new mechs. And that's pretty much it. And this time Slammer Samuels will be blowing up a Japanese vehicle. Alright? I've learned my lesson. Do not charge him into heavy infantry. Alright, chat. Well, we got some jungle terrain built. We chit-chatted, you know, and all that. And yeah. What do you call it? Thank you so much for hanging out and spending some time with us. I think Americans need some sort of monster unit. Yeah, I mean, like, they got the Firefly. I mean, the linebacker, right? But they need, like, a, yeah, maybe, like, some sort of, like... Definitely, like, you know, the Axis have, like, the giant, walker, right? With the crazy, reinforced, or damage value something, right? Which also the Soviets have style, but they also have Drugov. Yeah, you think there's like there needs to be like some sort of super mech that the Americans have, right? Because we make everything bigger, right?
Like our SUVs get bigger every year. Now, I mean, that's changed after a little while, but in the 2000s, the trucks were getting bigger every year. We like making things big here in the United States. We need like a jumbo, like two-legged walker mech, not like a spider walker. You know what I mean? Like a freaking Titan, like FDR clones. I am keeping my eye out for an FDR miniature. I would love to have FDR show up at some point and like Superman come flying in, like whoosh, and like blow up like an entire platoon of Axis power armor. You know, it's not even like a mechanic. It just happens. He flies by and like destroys like an entire village with his eyes, like laser cannons or something. Something's going to get the twin Tesla. Yeah. We will be getting the twin Tesla cannon soon. So that's not too big of a deal. That'll be nice. But all right, chat. Well, thank you so much again for watching. I really appreciate it. And also shout out to Nick for the 10 super chat. Really appreciate it. Very, very kind to you. And thank you so much for the kind words. That's the reason why we make videos, is to help hopefully get people into Konflikt in the future. And also shout out to Squig Herder Sean for the 5 gifted memberships. Round of applause, chat. Round of applause. But yeah, thank you so much, chat, for hanging out. Bad Rabbit, Valor Games, Rev, anybody lurking on Twitch. Twitch was quiet today, but usually the folks that watch us on Twitch are Fly Tires. Omnisaya, and again, we had Tabletop stopping by. Thank you so much to everybody. And Nick, thank you so much. And yeah, chat, well, again, the new battle report is out, so go check it out here on Mike Rolls Dice, Soviets versus the Axis. If you got some hype points, and you get 3 free hypes a week. If you want to use one, I'm not going to say anything about it. It's free. But thank you so much, chat. You guys have an awesome rest of your week. And we'll see you at some point here. I don't really have a set schedule for streaming or anything here on Mike Rolls Dice. But if I have some hobby stuff I need to do, I figured we might as well stream because I'm just hanging out anyway. So I'm sure we're going to be streaming somewhat regularly, here and there. And yeah, so already hyped it. Hey, Valor, appreciate it. Thank you, my friend. What do you call it? I never forget, we were in the top 100 of videos hyped in Romania. I think it was something like that. So shout out to all my Eastern European viewers. Okay. All right, chat. But we'll see you soon, and you have an awesome night. All right. So you take it.